Oh, the story is about a girl named Addie, and not to be confused with Heather's Eddie, but um, she gets a job with this lady named Gertie who is about to open a like dance place in her house, and these are the occurrences that happen. Um, we entered the last room on the left, and I realized where the noise was coming from. The room was infested with bugs. Not just bugs, but bees. Bees with pointy stingers that can make your thumb swell to the size of an avocado. I stepped backwards and tripped against the wall. Gertie grabbed my hand and pulled me up. Well, as you can see, I got a bit of a bee problem. The damn things made a hive right outside of the house near this room and somehow got in here. I tried spraying, but they just keep coming, Gertie said. She acted as though it were common to be infested with bees. I would have understood if it were ants or even roaches, but bees? There were a few live ones flying around. I stood there, unable to move or speak, for fear that the bees would swarm me like a hibiscus bush. Gertie took her bug spray and suffocated them in front of me. She did it without any effort. Whenever my mother kills a bug, she always tries to sit me down to talk about it. She asks me if I think insects go to heaven or if they reincarnate. The stuff she comes up with. I tried once to think about it after her spiel, but before I could think anything, she came barging into my room to ask if I would read to her. There were small vanities set up around the room with big round vanity light bulbs. There were powder puffs on plates and old perfume bottles that had dead bee bodies lying in and beside them. This is where the girls get ready. I decorated in all green because that's my favorite color. Green curtains, green carpet. I think it's nice, minus the bees. She laughed and looked at me. I tried to laugh, but all that came out was a scoff. Anyway, I need you to clean up this mess. I want to open up again soon, and as you know, and teach dance a couple of years before I'm dead. I stood there and realized she wanted a response. Yeah, sure, I can do it. Gertie pointed to the crusty mop and broom that she had placed next to the door. She handed me a dustpan and said she had to go to the store to buy candles because there was a weird smell in her bedroom. I was surprised that she trusted me enough to leave me alone in her house. My mother won't even let me dig through her purse to get a mint or a tampon. I heard Gertie shut the door. I was relieved. I didn't want her to see my twitchy faces of disgust as I cleaned. I couldn't stop thinking about how Gertie was so open about death. What is it with old people and dying? She seemed healthy enough. Her body was in good shape. Maybe she had breast cancer like my mother did when I was little. My mother wasn't near as open about death as Gertie. She didn't grow up with any religious guidance or spirituality from her parents. So my mother used a hodgepodge of religious ideas to help cope with the fact that her life could end because of some weird bump near her nipple. During her treatment, she took me to this monk in town who supposedly had clairvoyant tendencies. She had read about him in the Yellow Pages. She called to try to make an appointment, but the place was first come, first served. We got there at 6 in the morning. The guy told my mom that the doctors were mistaken, that she didn't have cancer, but that she would die in a couple of weeks from food poisoning. She demanded her money back, and I sunk in the faux leather seat in embarrassment. Gertie seemed like the type to laugh at a place like that, let alone get in line at 6 in the morning for anything. I imagined she was spiritual, like maybe she prayed every night or read the Psalms or even went to church. I thought of her getting dressed up and singing in the pew with her perfume emanating from her body, like my dad's mother, when she took me to church a couple of Sunday mornings. I finished cleaning the counters of the vanities and decided to move an old couch to clean behind it. Whenever I clean at home, my mother moves the couches to make sure there aren't any dust bunnies that I forgot. After she looks, she tells me good job and gives me a dream catcher from the corner store, reads an affirming verse from the Bible. I pulled the green couch away from the wall to find, no kidding, over 1,000 dead bees that smelled like cut grass. I backed away and leaned against the wall. I got a whiff of the apple vomit smell again. I didn't know how long Gertie was going to be gone, but the intensity was hard to ignore. Perhaps my curiosity was due to all those romance mysteries my mom made me read to her when I was in junior high. Now I'm going to skip over to where she tries to confront the actual apple vomit smell. Okay. I went in the bathroom and realized that the source of the smell was in there with me like a ghost. The bathroom was really clean and had little fancy soaps in the shapes of seashells. I looked around but couldn't find anything. The bathroom looked like it hadn't been used in a couple of weeks. As I turned around to leave, I noticed a small door next to the toilet in the mirror. My romance detective curiosity made me want to open it. I imagined a little man in there named Micah, who had died because he got stung by too many bees. It was hard to open the door since it was next to the toilet. Once I got it open, I couldn't see anything because it was dark. I was so close to whatever it was, I swear I could see vapor lines coming out like in the cartoons. I turned the bathroom light on and bent down to look. I jumped back. I thought I saw the face of a possum staring at me. I ran out of the bathroom and into the bee room. I heard a key jiggling in the front door.